Hi, my name is Jeff Thompson. I am an educator in the post-secondary realm, where I coordinate a program called the Virtual Reality Production Program at Conestoga College at Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. And what we do there is we really take students from a variety of different backgrounds. Some have coding experience, some have film and game experience, and we try to expose them to as much as possible in XR. And we really appreciate using Zoe because it's an ideal tool that can be used to help prototype virtual reality experiences.
Yeah, hi, I'm Saravanan, and I'm a student of virtual reality production in Conestoga College, Kitchener, Canada. I've been developing games and VR experience in Unity, but the Zoe's it was new for me. I've created some experience in Zoe. It was awesome actually as a creative platform. I was using the ShapesXR and other the competitive apps, but Zoe was unique and it stands out in when it comes to interactions.
The assignment that the type of students that we have, the instead of us developing it as a teacher, the assignment was for them to work in pairs, so that one would be the designer and the other one would be the client, and then vice versa. So that the first had to come up with an idea, give that to their fellow student, then they had to do a low fidelity prototype in other softwares, something like a lot of the students ended up using Tilt Brush for that. And then we wanted them to do more of a high fidelity prototype using Zoe. And then in between that, those processes get all the feedback that they needed and to do that reiteration process between. Also, along the way, just to teach the various aspects of Zoe and what is possible within Zoe, I did run a classroom within where I invited everybody into it. And I gave them challenges in order to learn how to create different interactions so that they were able to apply those and see how to run the program. So there was a little bit of in class from myself, but the overall arching content that was made was from the students designing for each other.
At start, you'll see a title page, kind of a title board with what exactly the information is. And we have the affordances such as you have the organs and skeletons scattered over in a table. The kids used to grab each and every bones and they'll attach into the designated area. And once you attach the heart and the functionality, what is the biological name and what is the functionality will come on the site, kind of an UI. So the kids can easily learn the name of the organs and where exactly the organs will go and fit up, the skeletons, the bones will go and fit up, and all those things. Eventually, they will be arranging an entire skeleton of a human bodies.
Some that really fascinated me were some made these mazes and they were truly large scale. And I think that's sort of what's neat about Zoe is like a lot of the experiences that are demoed are somewhat smaller, but with the connection to Sketchpad, some of them really, really push themselves. And then they also use the connection of the really helpful write-up from Zoe about how to work with Blender and then how to make sure that their poly count was low enough so that they could import their own assets. So yeah, I did one the other day and it probably took me about like half an hour to even get through the maze because it was really confusing, like trying to figure out how to get through it and in VR, and you had to collect different pieces of fruit and then feed like a fox at the end of it, and then find your way back through. There was also another one that was done where it was teaching different types of germination of seeds. And so like you take seeds and then you'd plant them in the right pots and they would grow different plants. That student also used some elements that they made in Blender and then imported in through Sketchfab as well. There's a lot of them, but one that I always sort of cherish the most when I'm in an experience is affordance. It's just amazing where it's like, okay, like I can pick up this and now feed this to this animal. Can I feed this to this animal? You know, I think of games like Job Simulator and that they do that really well. I really enjoy that. Having the ability to just sort of explore and try different things out in the environments. And so when students design with affordance, it makes it just a lot more fun that you can try and experiment all these different and use the levels in maybe ways that they weren't intended to be used to.
So when I see that, I just realized that is that even possible? Skydiving in Zoe VR, even the developers wouldn't have think about that, because the gravity and physics are amazing in Zoe platform, right? So Jeff has created something like an elevator, so that lifts the players on the top in certain meters, and we can literally jump from that, and we can collect the collectibles. And yeah, he's explored so many like unexplored features inside Zoe that was amazed. Yeah, that is the one which I have seen, kind of a different exploration on Zoe.
They wanted to know how to make a gun in Zoe. And I imagine, like, especially being attached to Unity and gameplay, a lot of people are wondering about that. So I thought, okay, well, I think we could use like a move too and have it like triggered with like small items. So fortunately, just that week, the repeater was actually introduced into Zoe, and that was a game changer. And so we were able to actually come up with a system where when you take like, I was just using the models in the library. There's not a gun, but there's an axe. So you could take the axe and you could like push it up against like what a giant or a tiny little 3D axis, and that would trigger a carrot to go shoot from one axis to the other. And then they wanted to know if it would be possible to do targets. So as that carrot would like hit into I used emojis that look like balloons. As they would hit that, that would actually trigger the carrot to disappear and then to return back to its original spot. Or if it made it to the other side, it would also trigger it to return to its spot so that it could be shot again. So that repeater actually made it so that you could gamify quite a few things. I also did some experiments with trying to make some randomization of locations of like sending items from one point to another. So having like the emojis come at you so that you can hit it with like a sword or something like that. Yeah, actually, it was really refreshing. So in the class, we start off with a more traditional prototyping with Figma, and then take that Figma design to XR. And then we moved into headset with Zoe. And in the past, I'd used other high fidelity solutions like Twinmotion, which is really good for high fidelity design, and it's quick to design with, but very limited in the interaction. So I love the fact that Zoe, and I think that's what really sets Zoe apart from things like Twinmotion and Shapes and Gravity Brush, Sketch, and all those ones, is that the fact that you can actually add these interactions and that you're doing the programming without having to learn coding. It's very easy to learn. And I think that in the future, what I would do is actually focus even more so on that interaction because of the ability that Zoe has with that. I tried to as much as possible this semester, but I wouldn't mind even going even further and trying to challenge the students to really try to come up with some really unique ways of using the interactions. Even in a faculty where you are teaching VR, it's surprising how much you have to encourage the students to just put on the headset and try it out. So that's the main thing. Like you get so excited as an educator and somebody who's a VR enthusiast yourself that people are just going to automatically put it on. But a lot of times I found like I had to like really encourage, like, okay, let's go in together and let's experience this. And that's what's really cool about the collaborative nature of Zoe, is that you can. And then I had a lot of students that said that even that where they had experienced motion sickness or uncomfort in VR before, that they actually didn't experience it in Zoe, and that they were able to stay in the experience for up to like 40 minutes to an hour, which in most cases, if you're above 20 minutes, is actually really decent. I think it's a great way to get them thinking about interaction and not just creating the scene, but thinking about like beyond like how can they really engage their users in the spatial experience.